back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brookelynne. I currently live over here in Florida, right next to Disney World, and I have not been able to get into the parks recently, and I've not vlogged a lot, just like in my regular day life. So I thought today we'd do a little bit of a different video, more of a sit down, and I'm going to describe to y'all how I would plan my perfect day at Disney. Now, if you didn't know, previously I have done 2 college programs with Disney, so I pretty much lived on Disney property and, you know, went to the parks almost every single day for 3 months the first time and then like 5 months the next time. So I've pretty much, I feel like, mastered my perfect day at Disney in all the different parks. So I thought it'd be fun to go ahead and do like a my perfect day in each different park. So today we're gonna start with my perfect day in Magic Kingdom. So one of the first things that I like to do whenever I decide I wanna go to the park is I actually plan. Most days I won't just go without a plan of some sort, especially if I'm going with people and I wanna make it like a full day. If I'm doing a half day at the park, I usually won't plan, but a full like day that I'm like dedicating just to going to the parks and having fun, I do like to have like a rough plan in mind. That way, I know what I'm doing, because if you didn't know, the Walt Disney World parks are very large. Walt Disney World Resort in general is just very large. There's a lot of things, lots of rides, lots of food, lots of characters, and lots of people. So it's always better to have that plan in mind so that you know how you're gonna do things, what you're gonna do, and all that. So whenever I am planning, my first step is to choose a park, which obviously today I'm gonna talk about Magic Kingdom specifically, so we're gonna pick Magic Kingdom. The next thing I like to do is to either go on to the My Disney Experience app, which is the Walt Disney World app that you can use to look at the parks, see the wait times, different attractions, different offerings for the time. I keep it downloaded on my phone all the time, and I will randomly just look at it in the middle of the night and be like, man, or not in the middle of the night, but like in the middle of the day while I'm at work and be like, man, Haunted Mansion's a walk-on right now. But if I'm planning a park day, I usually do like to go ahead and look through that, see if there are anything, see if anything is closed for the day, such as, you know, it might be raining, so the parades might be canceled. There might be a ride that's under refurbishments at the moment. So I like to go ahead and take that into account, as well as they usually will have seasonal things on there, like for the different Epcot festivals, they'll have those on there. For Magic Kingdom specifically, there's usually not a lot of like news with Magic Kingdom. It's usually the one park they don't change that much because it is like the main, you know, what you think of when you go to Disney World, you know, the castle and stuff. But they will sometimes have like updates, like right now it's all decorated for fall, so they have like all their fall like treats kind of sponsored or on there. But anyway, I like to go in there and just look over, see if there's anything new. You can also just go to the Walt Disney World website. They always have like what's new. And then I usually am watching on YouTube different Disney vloggers, like allears.net, and Disney Food Blog, and then like Kyle Palo, just like a bunch of random Disney vloggers to kind of see like what's happening in the parks right now if I haven't been in a while, so I can stay up to date on everything, as well as social media, because there are a lot of things that happen at Disney World. It's really easy to miss things. So I like to stay up to date on all those things so I know what's going to be offered while I'm in the parks, as well as I also check Disney blogs. Sometimes, this one's not an everyday occurrence if I'm going to the park. I just do it like every now and then, probably like once a month, just to like to see like the big updates. But there are like Disney Food Blog, allears.net, and a few other Disney blogs that aren't actually like affiliated with Disney. They're just like travel blogs that like are people have made about Disney. Sorry, my cat is attacking everything. But I always look on those first thing when I'm planning to make sure that I know what's available for when I go. After I look up all of that information, my next step that I like to do is to go ahead and make a list of my priorities. Now, usually this is just in my phone, which, where is my phone? Speaking of that, usually it's just in my phone, in my notes app. Sometimes I'll send a text if my sister and I are going, if she's coming into town, or if I'm going with another friend, we'll just text back and forth, be like, hey, these are my must-dos for the day. Hey, these are my must-dos for the day, and we see how they line up. For me, if I was planning my perfect day at Magic Kingdom, here are some of my priorities. First off, for attractions, I love riding rides, so those are kind of my top things that I like to do, is just get as many rides in as possible. Some of my rides that are must-dos whenever I'm in the park, as long as the lines aren't too crazy, are Space Mountain, Jungle Cruise, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which that one is new to Magic Kingdom. It came out this summer, or it was Splash Mountain and they got refurbed, so it reopened this summer. And it is currently in a virtual queue, so you have to wake up super early in the morning in order to get a virtual queue for that, or wait until 1 o'clock, or purchase a individual lightning lane for it. So because of that, that's why it's so important to plan, because if you don't plan right for that, you will not get to ride it for the day. It does not have a standby line where you can just hop in line. There are a few different rides like that around Disney properties, so that's another thing that you need to look at on the Disney Experience app to make sure that you don't need to do anything before your day starts, so you can ride all the rides that you want to. After Tiana's, some of my other kind of must-haves are Haunted Mansion. I love that one. Tron, for me, I can skip, but like if it is like a high, like it is a pretty popular ride right now because it is one of the newer rides at Magic Kingdom, so that one I do try to ride every now and then. Little Mermaid is a go-to filler attraction. People Mover, Country Bear Jamboree, Hall of Presidents, Carousel of Progress. I really just like to try and ride every single ride in the park if I can. I just think it's so fun to see all of the mechanics that went into it, all the storytelling that goes into it, as well as it just feels like you're fully immersed in the ride and in the story. So attractions are definitely my top priority. So I kind of plan out my day saying, okay, I'm gonna start on this side of the park. Usually I start in Fantasyland and then I move over to Adventureland and Frontierland. Then I hit Liberty Square, and then I go back over, hit a few more in, what's it called? I hit a few more in Fantasyland, or I'll go head over to Space Mountain and then finish Fantasyland. Honestly, I'm really, really bad about zigzagging across the park, and I'll go here, then I'll go over here, then I'll go back over here for another one, then I'll go over here. You know, I don't really like some people like it where they do everything in one area, then they move next and go everything in that area, then they go next to everything in that area. I'm a little too scatterbrained for that, and I get a little too bored in one area, so I am definitely a zigzagger. So I just do my high ticket attractions that I know I want to get done and zigzag those, and then I kind of chill out through the rest of the day, and then I'll kind of do section by section. My next list of priorities I make out is my food priorities. Now y'all know this is an important one. My number one food priority when I'm at Magic Kingdom is corn dog nuggets from Casey's Corner. You can also get them at Golden Oak Outpost if you didn't know, in Frontierland. I learned that this past Disney college program I was on, because I worked in Frontierland, and I found out the stand, which is Golden Oak Outpost, almost like diagonal to Frontier Trading Post where I worked, sells them. So I would always stop and get some of those before work, and then like go down in the tunnels and eat it, and then like get dressed and come back up. So, but anyway, super fun. Love those. Those are a must-have for me. I have been getting them pretty much at Golden Outpost, so you don't have to wait in line, and like Casey's Corner is crazy. So if you're over in Frontierland, definitely recommend those. Those are a must-have for me. If I'm doing a character, like we're planning my perfect days. Because we're planning my perfect day, I'm going to say that in my perfect day, I would have a character meal, and that one character meal would be Crystal Palace's breakfast. Me and my mom had this, not this past spring break, but the spring break before that, and it was truly amazing. I loved it. The food was amazing. I love Winnie the Pooh characters. They're so sweet. So definitely recommend that, and that is part of my perfect day, having breakfast there. And usually I would do some rides and then go to breakfast and then do some more rides afterwards. That way I'm not like spending all of my rope drop time in a restaurant, but I'm still getting that breakfast time. Another item on my food must-haves for Magic Kingdom is the Gaston's Tavern Cinnamon Roll. This is so amazing. I think I have a picture of it. I'll try to insert it somewhere. But they're so ooey and gooey, but they're also like so sweet and like, they're amazing. They're huge. So I usually can't eat a whole one myself. So I haven't gotten one recently because I haven't been to the parks with people recently. But if I do go, especially like with a group where I'm like planning my whole day, definitely this is a must-have. Some other foods that I like will try to get, a Joffrey's chai latte, which the Joffrey's location at Magic Kingdom is over in Tomorrowland. So if I'm not going to be over in Tomorrowland, I will sometimes go ahead and stop by Main Street Bakery, which is the Starbucks location in Magic Kingdom, and get a chai there because I don't like coffee, I like chai. But if I don't do that, I'll just get a soda somewhere. Or I'll bring water. Water is a good choice, but usually if it's a perfect day, I'm having a chai somewhere. The chicken and waffles from Sleepy Hollow are amazing. I love getting those, as well as any seasonal items. I know right now they have a lot of fall items in the Christmas season. They'll have so many fun Christmas and like peppermint flavored things that I cannot wait to try. So I always check up on the My Disney Experience app and Disney Food Blog to see what seasonal treats are out. So I always try to get one of those. And then lastly, one thing that I started my first college program that I've been doing a lot recently as well is a float. I always get a float. Now the type of float changes. Sometimes it will be a like a vanilla ice cream with orange Fanta float. Sorry, my cat's attacking my couch. But one kind of float that I've been getting that people have made really weird faces at me, but it's so good, is a chocolate ice cream and root beer float. Like, I know some of y'all probably just gagged just then, but it is so good. Y'all have to try it, and it's part of my perfect day. Entertainment-wise, my priorities are watching the parade, meeting Winnie the Pooh. I love meeting Winnie the Pooh. I don't like meeting that many characters because it's kind of awkward. But for some reason, Winnie the Pooh, I don't know why. Me and Winnie always have the greatest conversations. Even though Winnie doesn't actually talk to you, his character attendant will talk to you. But I like watching Mickey's Magical Friendship Fair. I started watching this when I was on my college program doing glow carts. And it's just been something that I've kind of kept doing and love seeing. And then fireworks. I always like to watch fireworks. I usually don't watch them directly in front of the castle. Here's a tip. Part of my favorite day was watching them back behind, or to the side of the castle, behind the Christmas shop. There's like a little tiny space there, and you can see the projections from the side and all the fireworks, and it's not near as crowded or crazy trying to get out or back into the park to do more rides after. So definitely that's part of my perfect day, is having the perfect spot, and that's one of the perfect spots. I do like going over and meeting the characters at Pete's Silly Sideshow, which those characters are in like circus attire, and it is Goofy and Donald on one side, and then Daisy and Minnie on the other. So those are kind of all my priorities, and what I do is I take those things and I sometimes I'll put them into a timetable, other times I'll just put them in a checklist, and I'll just work and be like, hey, I'll put them in order of how I think I want to do them. So if I know that like I want to do Jungle Cruise, if the order I want to do it in is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, then hit Haunted Mansion, then go over to Jungle Cruise and Tiana's and Big Thunder Mountain, I'll kind of put them in order on my notes app like that and a checklist form, and then I'll just check them off as I do it. But that's kind of how I plan my day. And then there are some things you need to remember when planning my day. So I have written down 10 little things to remember, just little tips if you're trying to plan your perfect day and want to make sure it goes off well and doesn't have any, unexpected whoopsies throughout the day. My first little thing to remember is to always be flexible at Disney. You might get there and realize that one of the offerings or one of the attractions or something that you really wanted to try out is not available. And no amount of yelling or wishing it would be there is going to change that. Like, Disney's magical, but it's not that magical. So just be flexible with changing your schedule around a little bit. Wait times are also going to be crazy. So you need to put on your patient pants and be ready to wait an hour and a half for a ride if you really want to ride it. Or maybe you'll decide, hey, we've ridden this one time before, or we've watched the ride through video of this and it doesn't really seem like something that we really have to ride. So maybe we can spend this hour and a half doing these other 3 attractions instead of just waiting for this one that we're not that excited about. And also make sure you're flexible with ride downtimes. It is a magical place, like I said, but it's also a theme park. There are a lot of mechanics that go into these rides. There are a lot of weather elements in Florida. 9 times out of 10, there's going to be at least one attraction during your stay that is going to be closed either for a majority of the day or the whole day due to mechanical issues, or weather. If it rains, most of the outdoor attractions will stay open. There are 1 or 2 that will close immediately for rain, but as soon as lightning gets within 10 to 7 miles of your area, all of the outdoor attractions have to close, both for your safety and for the safety of the cast members. And honestly, it's really fun when it rains at Disney because everyone leaves. Everyone goes back to their hotel. So use that time really to go ahead and try out some different rides, but stay flexible and be okay with your schedule changing, because I've never met anyone that their Disney trip went exactly to the timetable how they wanted it, because like I said, it's a huge park and there's a bunch of people, so you just gotta stay flexible. Number 2 tip is to stay hydrated and beat the heat. Water is a must. I always bring a water bottle, and if I don't, I make sure that I know where the water stations are throughout the park. Every single park, including Magic Kingdom, has little water stations where you can go get a glass of ice water. In Magic Kingdom, the ones I can think off the top of my head, where you can just walk up and be like, hey, can I have a glass of water? On Main Street, Casey's Corner. Frontierland is the one I always go to, at least, is Pecos Bill. Liberty Square, you can get it at Columbia Harbor House. Fantasyland, I actually don't know about Fantasyland. I'm assuming you can probably get it at Friar's Nook, or maybe at Gaston's Tavern. It's really anywhere that has fountain drinks you can get it. And then Tomorrowland, you can get it at Cosmic Rays. But yeah, just look out for water and make sure you have water. One of the most saddest parts, honestly, about being a cast member was seeing these families that spent thousands of dollars. Like, some of them, it's like the only big trip they're gonna take this year, or like maybe in their life, maybe in this decade, to Disney, and they spent all this money and they end up getting sick, and we have to call an Alpha team, which is an ambulance, because they've gotten overheated and weren't hydrating and didn't prepare for the heat, and now their whole trip is kind of ruined because now they're sick and they can't enjoy the hotel they paid for. They can't enjoy the park tickets that they paid for because they've gotten sick. So please stay hydrated, drink lots and lots of water. Also make sure you're wearing sunscreen because you don't want to get burned. I am very pasty and I burn horribly. I blister, all that, so sunscreen. I usually buy a little fan, like a little motorized fan, battery operated, there you go, a little battery operated fan to keep in my lounge fly. Or I also have like one of those big fans that I use. And then lastly, for like the staying hydrated and cool one, wear like breathable clothes. There are some people who will come in these elaborate costumes and I know they are dying of heat. Like, they have to be sweating profusely. I usually will wear like an athletic skirt with some leggings and a flowy top, and I'm usually good. There have been a few times where I've tried to be cute and like have like a dress, but then I like have multiple layers because, you know, you're gonna be on rides, you want to make sure like nothing gets out of place, or like maybe for that character you have to have like 5 different layers on, and now I'm like can't enjoy anything because, one, it's hard to get in and out of the ride vehicles in those, as well as it's so hot. Even in the winter in Florida, during the day, like midday, it does get pretty warm. So just, you know, prepare for that. My third tip is to stay connected to your group. Make sure you have everyone's phone numbers and everything, just in case they won't get lost. But also, don't feel like you have to stay together. If you are a older group, or you know, can trust everyone to kind of go their own way at certain points, don't be afraid to split up. You know, for my family, me and my mom will ride every roller coaster. My sister, she'll ride most of them. She's gotten a lot better over the years. Good job, Brianna. But when we first started, she wouldn't ride anything. So, you know, she'd kind of go do her own thing. In Magic Kingdom specifically, she would like maybe go meet a character or watch a show while we went and rode a roller coaster. So don't be afraid to split up. Just make sure that your phones are staying charged and that you are staying connected. You make sure you have everyone's phone numbers just in case you do lose track of time or don't set a space to meet, which you need to set a space and time to meet. But just in case you don't, make sure you have those phones on you so you can stay connected to your group. Is to be prepared for the rain. Like I already said, it will more than likely happen. Make sure you bring a poncho or an umbrella, or just don't care. If you are getting soaked by the rain, but you didn't bring an umbrella or a poncho and you don't want to buy either of those in the parks because they're kind of expensive, maybe try to just live in the moment. Don't complain too much because then it kind of, you know, ruins it for everyone around you. I have a poncho. I had a poncho when I worked there that was like a work poncho, and I never wore them because the thing with ponchos is it's so humid in Florida that you literally are sweating underneath that poncho. So half the time you get just as drenched as if you hadn't worn the poncho. So I either will just not wear a poncho and just, hey, you know, it's a free shower, or I will bring an umbrella, although it does get pretty windy, so sometimes that umbrella does go like opposite. But yeah, just make sure you're prepared for that. If not prepared physically, prepare your attitude. And my fifth tip or like thing to prepare for is to be nice, be kind. Be kind to each other in your group because you will get mad at each other. It's okay, you'll get frustrated, that's okay. Just be kind. Remember, you're in the happiest place on earth. No point in getting upset with each other. You don't want the one thing you remember to be about you don't want the one thing you remember about your trip to be that you and your family member had the worst fight of your lives in Disney World. You're gonna get upset and that's okay, but just kind of, you know, if you need to, take that time, step apart, chill out for a minute. So be kind to each other, be kind to other guests. You never know what someone else is going through, and there are thousands of people at the parks, especially Magic Kingdom, thousands and thousands of people there. So just make sure that you're kind to them. If you're kind to them, more than likely they're going to be kind to you. And if not, hey, kill them with kindness, you know? But lastly, be kind to the cast members. Be kind to the cast members. Yes, they are getting paid to be there. But when I worked there, it's because I wanted to work in a place where it was happy and upbeat. And while most of the time it was, there were those one or two guests that after an interaction with them, I had to go to the back and take some breaths and look at my coordinator and be like, what is wrong with people? So just be nice to them. Cast members do get yelled at a lot because for some reason, people think we control the park when really the cast members that you see on the front line kind of just tell you what's happening. We don't get to make any decisions. Any decisions that are made so far above our head. Even like our coordinators and managers don't even make those decisions usually. It's usually like our boss's boss's boss is who makes the main decisions in the parks. We can't help that the Mickey pretzel went up by $1. So please don't yell at us because your Mickey pretzel is $1 more expensive than it was last year. We cannot help that, only they can. So just be nice, make it a magical experience for everyone. My sixth tip is to don't be afraid to slow down and take a break. Like I said earlier, it was really sad whenever you would see these families that were struggling with the heat and the pace and ended up having to leave their vacation early. If you start feeling like that, it's okay to take a sit-down break in a restaurant. Like I said, one of my favorite sit-down restaurants in Magic Kingdom is the Crystal Palace Character Breakfast. You can go in there during the heat of the day and eat a breakfast with Winnie the Pooh and friends if you have a reservation. If not, there are a lot of other options. There is Big Top Souvenirs has a big top, like a big tent area out back where there's a lot of seating. There's fans. It's usually, the music's usually lower, and it's where kids can kind of, if your kids need a break, you need someone to take a nap, you can kind of do it over there if you don't want to leave the park. There's the baby care center and first aid. If you're feeling sick or you need something for your baby or your baby needs to take a nap or something, you can go over to baby care, as well as any of the other indoor restaurants you can sit down at and eat. Or what me and my family usually do is we usually hit the parks first thing in the morning, do a lot. Then when it gets really hot during the day, we go back to the hotel and take a nap. And then we hit the parks again that evening and stay till close. That's just personally what we do. And it really helps us to have that energy at the end of the night for fireworks and still be able to get a lot done without being exhausted the next day. My seventh little tip is to take lots of videos and pictures. I love seeing other people's pictures on Instagram of them on their vacations. I love taking, obviously, videos and pictures in the parks. But one thing I kind of found is once I did start vlogging and stuff at the parks, I did feel like I was kind of missing out on stuff. So what I started doing is, especially on my phone, I will get my thing up, my camera, and I'll hold it like this, and I'll have it film. I'll make sure it's filming what I want it to film or taking pictures of what I want to, but then I'll look over my camera and actually look at what I'm looking at. So like when I watch the parade, I don't watch the parade like this. I watch the parade like this. So I can see everything happening with my own eyes, but then I also have that memory. I just feel like looking at it through a screen kind of takes away the experience. Like I might as well just be sitting in my apartment watching it on my TV for free rather than spending hundreds of dollars on a ticket to just, again, watch it through a screen. So take lots of pictures and videos, but don't be afraid to put the camera down for a little bit or to look away from it and just absorb the moment. My eighth tip is to watch the budget. Disney is pretty expensive, y'all, and it can get away from you really quickly. There have definitely been a few trips where I've been like, wow, I didn't mean to spend that much. How am I gonna afford this, that, and the other now? Oh, now I have to cut out this for the next day because I went way over budget this day. Don't be so strict on your budget where you're like, we can't buy anything except for the necessities. Only we're bringing our own water bottles and we're only eating chicken tenders for the entire trip, which that's how I do it, but like that's just because that's how I'd like to do it. But if you don't like chicken tenders, don't create a budget where that's all you can do. Go ahead and make sure you have that budget planned for your food, for a souvenir every day or so. And one thing that I've seen a lot of people do that I really want to try is they get a gift card and they fill the gift card with however much money they want to spend that day. And once the gift card's out, they're done for the day. And then they reload it the next day. And that's a really good way to keep your budget in check so that you don't have to deal with, oh, wow, I had a great vacation and now I'm in crippling debt. So yeah, watch your budget, watch your budget. My ninth tip is a very important one, especially as a previous cast member and someone who really enjoys Disney World. Don't ruin the magic. Please do not ruin the magic for the kids. As a cast member, I had multiple times where I had people come up to me and say, oh, you know, how many Mickeys are there out right now? I'd be like, there's one Mickey Mouse. Like, obviously, sometimes the White Rabbit will get his, will help Mickey get some rabbit holes around the park so that he can get to and from places very quickly, but there's only one Mickey Mouse. There's another thing, there's a line from the castle all the way to Tomorrowland Terrace in the sky, and a lot of people will be like, oh, what's that line for? Oh, that's how y'all make Tinkerbell fly, isn't it? And what I choose to tell everyone is that no, that is not how we make Tinkerbell fly. Peter Pan actually asked us to tie that up, and he helped us because he was afraid with all of the smoke and how foggy it is after fireworks that Tinkerbell wouldn't be able to find her way home. So he put that in the sky so that if she needs to, she can hold onto it, or we can tie her to it so that we can make sure that she gets all the way home and doesn't lose her way when the fog. So yeah, don't ruin the magic, please. It's something that's very special to some of us, and if it's not to you, then you can go to another park. So there you go. But then my 10th and final little Disney perfect day tip is to obviously have fun. There is no right or wrong way to do the park. You can do whatever you want, really, as long as it's legal and within the rules. So yeah, just have fun. If you don't like rides, there's so much entertainment and awesome food, as well as just the atmosphere of Magic Kingdom specifically is really, really fun to just walk around and enjoy. So if you don't want the rides, that's okay. If you only want to do rides, that's okay. If you just literally want to go in, buy a thing of chicken tenders and sit in front of the castle for an hour and then leave, that's okay. That could be your perfect day. Just have fun with it and make sure that you are flexible and having a great time. So that's kind of how I process planning my perfect day at Magic Kingdom. I think I am going to go ahead and end this video because it's getting a little long. But let me know if y'all want to see this for the other parks. I know the ending was kind of just generic for any park, but I could let y'all know like my favorite rides and like how I would like plan out time by time for the other parks. If you want me to do that, let me know down below. Also let me know what your favorite park to go to is, and let me know if y'all want to see me kind of reenact this perfect day actually in the parks once I get my annual pass situated. So thank y'all so much for watching. If you're not already, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on all the content that will be coming soon, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.